are you all doing? Today is Friday, February 3rd, and I am back for my usual update. It's been 2 weeks since my last one, so I hope you've all been doing well and you had a wonderful end to your January. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. My name is Olivia, and this is Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. This is a video podcast where I typically talk about my cross stitching as well as quilting. However, if quilting is not something you're interested in seeing or hearing about, I show it a little bit later on in the video, and I let you know in plenty of time that they'll be making their appearance, so that way you can go on to the next Flosstube video. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I wanted to start off today's video by saying a great big thank you to everyone who watched my previous video and who left me such great comments. In my last video, I shared how I took you guys into my bedroom and I showed my little sampler wall that's hanging up in the bedroom. I also showed another little area in the bedroom where I hang like Anne Priest and Mary Bell. And I want to say thank you so much for all of your kind comments. Also, a little bit later on in the video, I did share how I display the quilts around the house. Such great comments. I really appreciate it so much. I was very nervous about sharing those areas in the video, mainly because I am always afraid what people think. I mean, even though I'm trying to get better about not caring what anyone thinks, just enjoying, what I like to make and display and decorate, it still is hard when you get like really harsh criticism. So I was really worried that I was going to get some of that because, I don't have a large house and I have little areas where, I just have small areas that I can work with, and I try to make it work for me. I think it looks great, but I definitely was very nervous about sharing those little areas of my home and just kind of what someone might say. But I really do appreciate all of the kind comments. It really meant a lot to me and definitely boosted my confidence in, sharing, small elements of my home, when I do, maybe change out the decor and I want to kind of show what it looks like. So thank you. I definitely will plan to share more of those areas of my home, and I just really appreciated all of the wonderful comments you guys left me. So before I get any farther into the video, I thought I would grab Fred and show him really fast, mainly because he is being kind of a stinker and he keeps getting into stuff, and I keep having to pause the video and go and, put away whatever he has now pulled down or gotten into, or he's just being a rascal. I don't know if the moon is full tonight, but if it is, that explains a lot. Usually he's just very good. He chews his bone, but today he has decided that he is going to get into everything while mommy tries to do her Flosstube video. Right, Fred? All right, the next order of business is a little bit of housekeeping that I need to do. So right now, it actually for me is Thursday. I know I said it's Friday, and of course when the video is uploaded, it's Saturday and beyond. But I have had to start filming my videos on Thursday, and that is just because to upload these videos, for me to go in and edit them and do all the things to turn them into a YouTube video, it takes forever. It'll take a full day for all of the different video clips to upload. So Fridays, usually Friday morning, Friday afternoon, I will go in and I will do all the editing and get it uploaded to YouTube, hopefully for Saturday's premiere. When I was filming my last video, when I was editing the video on Friday, somewhere between Friday and Saturday morning, there was a shisty charlatan, which Mama Loves You GB told me it's actually a bot. But what was happening is this person or bot was going into a specific video. So it would have been, this is 107, last one was 106. I think it was video either 103 or 105. They were going into that video pretending to be me. So they had my YouTube photo, and they were going on saying, congratulations, you've won a giveaway. You know, please contact me on Telegram using the name above to claim your prize. When you do that, they'll say you have to pay postage, so they want you to send them money. And it's just a big scam. Number one, it was not me. So my YouTube handle is at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. There is not another name before it or after it. There's no sets of numbers, nothing like that. It is just at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Number two, I only do giveaways in the videos. So before you even contact me as a winner, you already know what you won. I know what you won. You're contacting me directly via email to claim your prize. I will never go onto your comment and say, congratulations, you've won this mystery prize. Please contact me on another website to claim it. I also will never ask you for postage. If I am doing the giveaway, I am paying the postage to you wherever you live in the world. I am sorry it happened. It actually happened again when I was taking my grandma to the eye doctor on Monday. I had a couple people reach out saying, hey, I've won a prize, and I'm going, not again. And I went in to look at my video, and I could see where someone had went in once again pretending to be me, announcing that, you know, that you had won a prize. I couldn't do anything about it at the time until I got home. And by the time I got home, someone had reported it, or multiple people had reported this person/bot. And all I had to do was go in and hide them from my channel. YouTube already knew it was spam and had probably blocked the person. It's something that, you know, I watch various YouTubers, not Flosstubers, but other YouTubers, and it's something that they've had to deal with too. It's just, they're looking for money. And if they can get you to respond to them on this Telegram and send them money, that's all they want. They just want you to send them money for nothing. You're never going to get a prize. There is no prize. It's a huge scam. So if you get something like that, please report it as being, I believe when you go to report something, there's like a bunch of different things that you can say, but I think you can say it's a scam or something like that. But please feel free to report them. Because again, my YouTube name is at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. There's nothing else. There's nothing. It's just at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, all one word. But I am sorry this happened. It is very frustrating. I know it can be very exciting when you believe that you've won something. Unfortunately, I mean, nobody was upset about it, which was really good. But it definitely was very aggravating for me. I had to go in, I had to respond to these people claiming these prizes. Luckily, you all contacted me and said, I'm here to claim my prize. You never went on that Telegram website. So that was good, as long as you contacted me directly. And again, if I do ask you to contact me, I will ask you to contact me via email. My email address is pumpkinhollowquilting@gmail.com. So anytime I want you to contact me, I'm gonna say, please contact me via email. And I'm gonna give you my email information in that comment. Please feel free to continue leaving comments. Don't allow these charlatans to, you know, scare you away from leaving comments, not only on my videos, but on other Flosstubers videos as well, because we love your comments and we love getting them. So hopefully these scam artists will move along and we'll never have to deal with them ever again. But again, I do apologize for the issues that popped up, for the confusion, for all of that. And again, thank you to those who reached out to me first before you did anything else. That was the right thing to do in letting me know. And as time goes on, you know, when I see these comments pop up, I will immediately report them and block them from the channel. And when I do that, it takes the comments away. If you get a comment like that, you know, you can either report it or you can ignore it. All right, so moving along to much more pleasant topics. I did watch a couple of brand new Flosstubers to me. This particular person had come up as a recommendation, And she must have come up as a recommendation for other floss tubers as well, because I noticed that she was getting shouted out, which is awesome. Her name is Heidi, and she is stitching Faye, and she is amazing. I watched her two most recent videos, and then I went back and watched her first video, and I plan on watching all of the ones in between. I believe she has 14 out. Such a prolific stitcher. She stitches a variety of beautiful cross stitch, and quite honestly, I feel like anyone watching will find something that they've either stitched or that they are new to them and that they will want to then be enabled. Such a variety. I really enjoyed her videos. I can't wait to watch the rest of them. Definitely a floss tuber you should be checking out. And then the second one is a brand new floss tuber, and her name is Cindy, and it's Cindy's Adventures in Stitching. Loved her first couple of videos. I also love her little sewing trailer. Her and her husband took a vintage trailer and they totally like gutted it and revamped it and made it into her sewing studio. And I am so jealous. That is the perfect solution if you have like a small house and you don't have a sewing area where you can have like a sewing room. I would love to go and haunt, uh, like yards where they have vintage trailers and find one and totally redo it. I think that would be so fun, and then have it be its own little area. She even has a fireplace in there, which is just so awesome. What a great idea. Such a cute little trailer. If I had it, I don't think I would ever come in the house. I got to thinking about what mine would have. Mine would have a refrigerator. It would have TV. It would have cable out there so I could watch stuff. It would have a fireplace. I'd probably never come into the house. It'd just be me and Fred hanging out there all the time, and people would wonder where I went, and that's where I would be. Anyway, I loved her video. I loved seeing her little trailer. I think she said that her and her husband had done, they have another channel where they showed where they had went in and demoed it and redid it. And so I'm definitely going to go and watch it. But I also loved all of the stuff that she showed as well, stitching. Such a great floss tuber. So definitely go and check out Cindy's Adventures in Stitching. And I will put both Heidi and Cindy's floss tube channels down below in the description box. I will put links so that way you can just go and click on the link if you just want to be taken right there when this video is done. For these past 2 weeks, I worked on a variety of projects. The first one is Spooky Countdown by the Primitive Hare. So I'm stitching this one with my friend Yvette, and this has been my morning stitch. And I am a week ahead. So how we broke it down was we decided that we would do one block a week. And I ended up, last week, I stitched 3 weeks worth. So I am ahead. So next week I will be able to work on Keeper of the Pens. And that is also what I've been working on this week too. So here's my progress so far. So I have finished 6 weeks worth of blocks, and I love how it is turning out. Down here on this boo block, there's supposed to be a spider right there, and I left the spider off, and I just decided to leave it as boo. I kind of like it without the spider, but we'll see as we go along if I feel like maybe I need to stitch it or put something else there. But I love how this is looking so far. Cannot wait to get the whole thing done. And some of the blocks, they go really super fast, and then others like the pumpkin, that one took a little while, but it is such an enjoyable stitch. I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count jack-o'-lantern by XJUDesigns, and I am using the called for DMC, and I'm stitching it 1/2. I love it. Love it, love it. So looking forward to getting back to it, which won't be next week, but it'll be the week after. My other morning stitch has been Keeper of the Pens, Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. So in my last video, I had progress on the sewing bird. and I was able to finish it. And then this past week, I started this little pillow up here, which is called Needle and Thread. I love working on this one so much. So let me show you the sewing bird. Here is the sewing bird. So I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count Vintage Country Mocha with the called for threads, and I am stitching at 1/2. I love this one so much. I love the colors. I love the whole thing, and I cannot wait to have all of them done and in a little tray. So I love it, love it. And then here is my progress on needle and thread. So this one here, I believe I started it on either Monday or Tuesday. And it's gone pretty fast. I thought maybe I would be able to get it done before today's video, but this morning I didn't do any stitching. I instead was getting ready for today's video. So hopefully in my next video I will have this one done and maybe another one started. I probably will not fully finish them until after I have finished all of them. So I did have a new start over these past 2 weeks, and it comes from the Blackbird book Sarah's House by Blackbird Designs, and I am stitching Flock of Friends. So I've worked on this. I think it's just been in my rotation one time. I think I worked on it maybe for 3 days. And here is my progress. So I am stitching this on a piece of, I think, 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. It was just a little scrap that I had saved from another project. I have, so the one thing that I'm kind of annoyed about is when I went in and I put the stitch count in my stitch calculator, it told me what size of linen I needed to use. So it told me I needed a piece that was 9 by 7, and that is exactly the size of this linen. And I always use a 2-inch margin. So this is in 2 inches, and then I found my start point. So I come down, and then I usually put a pin, and then I will, from that pin, I will count, you know, to like this bird, and then that's how I start it. But you can clearly see that I have all of this that's not going to be used. So I could have brought this down and, you know, put it down in here. Instead, you know, it's 2 inches from the top. It wouldn't fit very good in a Q-snap, and it wouldn't fit very good in a, I mean, I could have got it in a Q-snap, but I like to have it in something that's big enough that will go into my lap stand. So I put it on my smallest scroll frame, and I had to sew a little bit of fabric so that way it could go into the scroll frame. But then I take it out and I look and I have all this down here that I could have used. Anyway, I was just very frustrated when I discovered that. And I have Stitching the Night Away. It's a stitch calculator, and I have it on my phone, and I put in, all of the information. It'll tell me the size of linen I need, and every single time I always have this area right here that I could have utilized. So I'm a little bit irritated. I feel like this is just going to be wasted. So anyway, but here's my progress so far. So I do love working on it. I love the colors. A lot of the colors remind me of the threads that I used in Anne Priest. It just has all of those wonderful earth tones that I really love to stitch with. So I started working on the house. I actually worked on this while I watched the last Kansas City Chiefs football game. I was going along pretty good, and when I got kind of up in here, I was watching the game and, rooting for my team, which is now going to the Super Bowl. So I'm super excited. So anyway, I would have gotten a little bit farther along, but during that last half of the football game, I was watching the Chiefs play, and it was a nail biter, and it just was like, I definitely thought I was going to have like heart palpitations. So this is the progress I made, and I'm looking forward to getting back to it again. I think it's going to come into my rotation tonight, and then I'll have it for a couple of days, and then I'll move on to, I think, Houses of Hakron Hollow for a couple of days. So love working on it. So again, I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count Vintage Country Mocha, and I'm using the called for threads, and I'm stitching it 1/2. I also had another new start over the past 2 weeks, and that was Stacy Nash Primitives Halloween at Hollyberry Farm. So this one is one I've wanted to work on for a very, very long time, and I just decided to go ahead and start it. Now, a lot of you guys will probably realize that that's definitely a very different approach than I've had over the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years, it's only work on maybe 3, possibly 4 things, work on them until they're done. And here I am, I've started 2 brand new things while I still have other stuff in the rotation. The reason why I decided to do that is because over the last 2 years, I've been very focused on getting things finished, working on the mocking basket of whips, and just like goal-oriented, focus, focus, focus. And this year, I decided I just want to have fun with stitching. And, I think a lot of people can relate. I mean, go to the grocery store and you walk out depressed. I think a lot of people can relate to that. And it's just everything. It's just everything. And I just feel like when it comes to my stitching or my quilting, it's like my joy. So I just want to stitch on the things that make me happy. So that's why I decided to start it. I have a couple other things I'm probably going to start, maybe not in the next 2 weeks, but definitely stuff that's waiting. And I might decide to start it too. But this year I decided my goal is just going to be to enjoy my stitching. So here's my progress. So I started this, I think Monday. So I started this maybe I started it on Sunday night, after I had worked on A Flock of Friends. And so I worked on this, I think this is 3 nights of progress. And so this is the top, and then this is going down the side. And those flowers are no joke, but they are absolutely beautiful. And I love them on this linen. So this is the called for linen. It is 18th Century Rook by R&R Reproductions. And I am stitching this with the called for threads. And this, I believe, is I think it's a 36 count. I did not write that down. I'm pretty positive this is a 36 count that I got for it. But I love it. And I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and I'm going to stitch the whole border first, because I've watched other Flosstubers who have worked on this piece, and all of them have said that you spend the bulk of your time on the border flowers and then on the house. And then once you get those 2 done, it's cruising to the finish line. So I'm gonna stitch the whole border first, pray it meets, fudge it if it doesn't, and then work on the house. So love it. There's a little part of me that wants to try to get it done by Halloween. And then I remind myself that my goal for this year is to have no goals. So here it is again. So yeah, you can definitely tell that the border, a lot of those beautiful flowers, then you've got fence down below, and then that big beautiful white house. So looking forward to getting back to that. I don't think it comes into the rotation again over these next 2 weeks. I don't think so, unless I get a wild hair. My last project is Elizabeth Furniss 1836 by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. So I'm stitching this with Yvette and Christy of Crosshatch Quilts and Becky of Socks for Mom. And I forgot to grab it, but Becky so very sweetly made us a thread bling. It has the house here on it, and I have it attached to my thread. I forgot to grab it. I was going to show it today. I will make a note to show it in my next video, because she also made us one for Houses of Hakron Hollow. So I will show both of those in my next video. But I absolutely love thread bling, and it was so very generous of her to send that to me. She also, on Elizabeth, the thread bling, she attached the year we started it. So our January assignment was to work on the enormous tree and the Adam and Eve, and I was able to get that done. Although to me, Adam and Eve will forever be Elvis and Loretta. So here is my progress. So I finished the tree last week, and it was quite the undertaking. Probably the biggest tree I have stitched to date, but it is absolutely magnificent. So here is the sampler so far. So I love this piece so much. It is so beautiful. I love the threads, just such wonderful colors. I am stitching this on a piece of 40 count bee's knees by Seraphim fabrics, and I'm using DMC threads, and I'm stitching it 1/2. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And when I took this out of, it was in a Q-snap. So originally I had it on a scroll frame. A lot of you guys, because this is Velcro, a lot of you guys told me to be careful about storing it with the Velcro on there. I'm already way ahead of you. I noticed when I first took it out of the scroll frame, it immediately got stuck to the sweater I was wearing. So whenever I store it, I will put it Velcro end to Velcro end, and then I will fold it up. However, I think I'm actually going to cut the Velcro off because I don't foresee it going back into the scroll frame because the scroll frame ended up being way too big for me to stitch in bed, and I don't have a stitching chair or anything like that, so I can't, if I do stitch on it, it will be in a Q-snap. So I probably will just cut it off, and I might save these, and then if I do decide to put it back into the scroll frame, I will just reattach it with pins or whip stitch. So it's coming along beautifully, and I love it. Love it, love it. So our February assignment will be to finish page 2, which is this little bit of border up here, the middle cartouche, and then we will drop down below the house and do just a little bit of the grass. So I'm looking forward to getting back to her. She comes into my rotation next week. Okay, moving along to finishes. I did have 3 of them over the past 2 weeks. 2 of them were redos of old finishes, and then one of them was a brand new finish. All of the frames are thrift store frames that I had my husband cut down for me, and then I painted them and distressed them to get them to be the colors that I wanted them to be. Before I show my redos of old finishes, 2 things. The first thing is I always get asked about doing a finishing tutorial. So showing how the frames get cut down, and then how I then lace and fully finish the frame. So I don't have any plans to do a tutorial, mainly because I'm still learning myself, and also because I just don't really have a good setup to do a tutorial on framing. However, I think I remember watching Kim, who is, I believe, she changed her name, but I think it is Contented Needleworker Kim. I think she did a framing tutorial because I'm pretty positive I watched it and then began making my own frames. I also vaguely remember that Elizabeth from Elizabeth and Ken Stitch, I think she did one too. If I think about it, I will link them down below. Otherwise, just when my video is over, go over and check out those 2 videos to see if, or those 2 Flosstubers, to see if I am correct and they were the 2 that I'm thinking of who did tutorials. Now, the 2 redos that I did, another question that I always get asked is what was wrong with them? Why did I take them apart and redo them? So when I first started back into cross stitching, the only thing I knew was when you finished a cross stitch piece, you sent it off to get framed. framing can be expensive. So I watched Priscilla and Chelsea, and Priscilla always had great finishing ideas. Basically, anything that you stitched, you could then turn around and finish it in a creative way. And though, her doing that was a great resource, a great tool for me, and a great learning lesson. I learned a lot. But another thing that I learned was that it wasn't really my aesthetic. And even though they were great finishes, after they were done for the season and they got put away, they almost never came out again. And they've just been in drawers ever since. And then anytime I went in the drawer, I would see them in there. And I still, I have others in there. And I see them in there and I just feel really bad. I spent a lot of time, money, effort on them. I should refinish them and enjoy them. So both of these, I originally finished the exact same way, and they look like this. So I fully finished them onto 2 pieces of sticky board, put the magnets on the back, and then they were attached then to some sort of a finish. I think this one was a wood box, and then the Hello Winter that I'm going to show you was on a old wooden flower box. Both of those items have been repurposed into other things, and these finishes now need to get refinished into frames. So the first one was Hello Winter. So this one, again, thrift store frame that I had my husband cut down. I painted it with 2 coats of black paint, then went in with a fine sandpaper and roughed it up. Once I had it how I liked it, then I went in with antiquing wax and I buffed the antiquing wax into it to give it that primitive vibe that I like. I think this original piece was stitched on 36 count blue smoke. I stitched it with DMC thread and I did stitch it 2/2. I love it so much better now that I have it framed. The downside to finishing them this way is when you take them all apart, there is glue. So on this one, I used Aleene's tacky glue. And so when I, pull it away from the sticky board and then I pull it from the back side where it's glued, some of it comes up with it. So, you'll have pieces of paper that you'll have to kind of peel off as best you can, but the glue remnants are left behind. And I can see it because I framed it a little bit beyond where it had originally been finished. I wanted to see a little bit more of it. It does have kind of a crease in it that I just could not quite get out. I'm hoping it will relax over time, but I really like it. I love it so much better having it in a frame. It definitely fits my aesthetic way better than it originally did, because I definitely, as time has went on, I really have just discovered that I'm a simple girl. So I love it so much better. I also gave it like that professional finish. So this is a piece of craft paper or a lightweight butcher paper. So the only thing left to do is attach the hanger to the back. So I love it. I love it so much more than I did. My next redo of an old finish is this one. So this is Winter Wind by the Prairie Schooler. And this one was the one that every time I went into the drawer, I would always see it. It was right on top. And I always felt so guilty that it was hanging out in this drawer after all of the effort I had put into stitching it. So it was finished exactly the same way as this one, on the same count of linen, which I believe is a 32 count that I tea coffee dyed. They both were the same size because they both went into the same, it wasn't a frame, but it was sort of like a wooden box, and they both went in there. And they both barely fit. But I love it so very much more now than I did before, because again, I just felt really guilty. It was hanging out in the drawer. Now it's out of the drawer and I can enjoy it. The frame also was one that had my husband cut down from a thrift store frame. Its original color was sort of a beigey pink. So I went in, gave it 2 coats of black acrylic paint, and then went in with a fine sandpaper, roughed it up, and then buffed it with antiquing wax. And I think it looks so, so good. The bad thing was when I took it apart, I had only given myself 1 inch between where the stitching ended and where I had cut it. So I had to reattach some scraps of linen that I had discarded from another project. I try to save like long strips of remnants from other projects, because then when I go in to refinish these things, I can use those pieces to attach to these, make them a little bit bigger, and then I can then lace them with no problem. Because it was barely, so I have mat board and 3 pieces of batting, and it was barely folding over. I probably could have made it work, but I feel like it would have just been a nightmare. So reattaching some linen to it and then lacing it was the perfect solution. And again, I love it so much more. So it's a 32 count linen that I tea coffee dyed, and I did stitch it with the called for DMC. And this chart is still available. Right before I did this video, I went and I looked it up really quick, and I saw it available at the Fat Quarter Shop and other places, but that was like the first place that popped up. So I love it. Again, I gave it that nice, it looks like professional finish. So this is the, the lightweight butcher tip paper, craft paper, I think is what it's called. And the only thing left to do is put the hanger on it, and then I have 2 little felt discs that I will put on either side. So it looks good. I love it. I'm so very happy. And for my last finish, it is the ES Spot Motif Sampler by Of Female Worth. And you can either get a PDF download or a paper chart from 1884stitchery.com. So I showed this one finished in my last video, and I was able to fully finish it yesterday. So the frame. This frame is probably my favorite frame color finish that I have done to date. I had been watching it was like a home improvement type YouTube video, and the lady had went in, was creating, it wasn't a frame, but she was creating a frame around their television, and she was using a very similar, it was the same frame molding that I used for Anne Priest. And this looks really similar to it, which was just a coincidence. But she had painted it, and then she had used this stuff called Rub and Buff. So I got some, and it is an absolute game changer when you are painting these frames. So the original frame came from the thrift store. It was a light brown. I had the husband cut it down for me, and then I painted it with apple barrel matte acrylic paint in pavement. So this color is sort of a dark gray midnight blue color, which I thought worked really well with this outside border. Felt like they were very similar colors. So I painted it, and then yesterday I took the Rub and Buff and I went in and I like zhuzhed it. It looks really good. I don't know how well it is, with the camera. I don't know how well it is, behaving, but in person, it is spectacular. Rub and Buff is my new best friend, and I just want to go put that stuff on everything. I just love it. So the Rub and Buff I got was antique gold. It comes in different colors. There's an ebony one, there is a copper one, there is an antique gold, there's a regular gold, there's Grecian gold. All these amazing colors. I want them all. but I absolutely love it. When Ethan came out, he saw I hadn't put this in the frame yet. I had brought the frame in from the garage and I had it on the table, and Ethan came out and he thought I had purchased it from the framing store. I'm like, nope, I made it myself. So it looks so good. I love it. ES Spot looks spectacular in it, and I can't wait to get it hung in my bedroom. So it's gonna go on my sampler wall up in that one corner. And I stitched this on a piece of 40 count sand by Picture This Plus, and I did use the called for threads, and I stitched it 1/2. And when I fully finished it, I used 3 pieces of batting, a piece of mat board, and I laced it. And then, of course, I took the craft paper, gave it a very nice professional finish, and the only thing left to do is attach the hanger. I love it. Love it. So much fun with framing. All right, so I did get a little bit of happy mail over the past 2 weeks. The first little package came from Diane, and she sent me this card. And she had come across a duplicate chart, and she wanted to send it to me so I could offer it up as a giveaway. And so she sent me We Santa 2006 by Heart and Hand. So very cute. So thank you so much, Diane, for your generosity, and look for that in an upcoming giveaway. And then the next package came anonymous. Well, I know who sent it to me, but she wished to remain anonymous. And she had purchased the chart and the linen and the threads for this. And when it came in the mail, she realized it wasn't quite her jam. And so she wanted to pass it along to me to do as a future giveaway towards Easter. And that is Apostles' Creed by Heartstring Samplery. And I'm going to leave it in the bag it came in so I don't lose anything. So it's fully kitted. It has the linen and the called for threads. And it was so very generous of her to send that to me. So that will also be a future upcoming giveaway. The Apostles' Creed will be closer to Easter. Then I received an amazing package from Christy of Daisy K's Primitives, and she had sent me a message. She was doing a little spring cleaning, and she thought I might be interested in some ornaments that she had. And I was like, yes, please. So they arrived. She sent me this card, and I just love the card. And it's such a great idea to take pieces of your stitching, take a photo of them, get a blank note card, and then attach it to the front. I think that was so cool. I need to start doing that. So she sent me these 4th of July ornaments, which I love them so much. They're so wonderfully prim. Love, love, love. Cannot wait until I get to switch out my tree and add those. And then there are these cool checkerboard. These would be great for any time of the year, just as nice fillers. So cool. Love them. I just love them. They're just great. And then there were a bag of winter ones. So I already have attached the winter ones to my tree, but it looks like this, the snowflake. And then there was a snowman. So these ones I will hang on the tree now. I have some already on there, but they're so cute. I just love them, love them, love them. She also included a bag of pumpkins, and I think these are the blackened wax, I think. And they look like this. It's going to be so awesome on my Halloween tree. So she sent me a whole bag of those. And then she also included a chart. So this is Ida Nolt by Hands to Work, which I love this one so much. And she also sent a piece of 36 count heritage linen by Picture This Plus. I love this color of linen. And then this one here is just a really nice peachy color. Love it. So thank you so much, Christy. I've already been in contact with her, but now if she watches my video, she can see I've already displayed her ornaments. I love them. I just love them. So thank you so very much, you guys, for your generosity. It just means so much to me. So thank you so much. In my last video, I did have a giveaway, and thank you so very much to everybody who played along. The question that I had asked was, what is your favorite winter/summer, depending on where you live, weeknight meal that you enjoy making this time of the year? Loved reading through all of the responses. Whenever I ask a food-related question, I always get super hungry. And I feel like we should make a cookbook. So many great dishes. And, just thank you to everybody who played along. If I call your name as one of the winners, what you will need to do is get a hold of me via email, and I will put my contact information down below. Contact me via email, send me your address, and I will get your prize out in the mail to you. The first winner was for the set of Sampler of the Months by Country Cottage Needleworks. So it has all 12 months in it, and the winner is Glee Hansen. Number 2 is for the Cricut Collection Autumn, and the winner is Tasha Book Obsessed. Number 3 was for the America the Beautiful chart, and the winner is Shelly, and I apologize if I butcher your last name. Is it Reveal? Reville. Number 4 is for the Farm Fresh Trees by Stony Creek, and the winner is Kathy Dennison. And number 4 is the Home Sweet Home by It's So Emma, and the winner is Carol Day. So congratulations to all of the winners. Again, I'm sorry if I have butchered any of your names. I sometimes feel like if I was like where I had to call out names at, say a doctor's office, dentist office, I probably would be fired for butchering everyone's names. Today's video also has a giveaway. So what you will need to do in order to be eligible to win one of the 5 prizes is make sure you're a subscriber, like the video, and then of course answer the question down below in the comment section. Indicate which items you are interested in winning, 1 through 5, and in my next video I will announce those winners. So number 1, and this one is a used chart. I used it last year, but it's in perfectly good conditions. It's in perfectly good condition. It is Samplings number 1 by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. So if you are interested in this one, it is number 1. Number 2 is also a used chart by me, but again, perfectly good condition, just passing the stash. It is Spring Smalls by Lizzie Kate. So this one is number 2. Number 3 is Bloom Chock Full by Hands On Design. So this one comes with the chart and I believe, the Ada to stitch it. So if you're interested in this one, it is number 3. Number 4 is Star Spangled Street by Primrose Cottage Stitches. So if you are interested in this one, it is number 4. And number 5 is Farm Life by It's So Emma. So if you are interested in this one, it is number 5. The question that you will need to answer down below is kind of an off-the-wall one today, but I was thinking about it last night while I was doing the dishes. But the question is, what was the last song that you listened to? So for me, we have like a family account on Spotify. And whenever I'm doing the dishes or doing, something, I will usually just pop in my earbuds and then listen to my various playlists. And the last song that I remember listening to was Leonard Skinner's Simple Man, because that's like one of my favorite songs. So down below, put which song you remember listening to last. Again, I know it's very off the wall and random. Put it down below. Indicate which items you are interested in winning. And in my next video, I will announce the giveaway winners. My words today are wanting to come out way faster than my mouth can say them. Anyway, do all of that, answer it down below, and in my next video, I will announce the winners. And as always, thank you so very much for playing. Now I am going to talk about quilting. So if you are not interested in, seeing or hearing the quilts, this is a great stopping off point. The plan for me will be to be back in 2 weeks. So I hope you have a great couple of weeks. But now, quilts. All right, so let's talk about quilts. And I'm going to start off with a couple questions that I got from my last video. They're kind of combined together. But a lot of you guys wanted to know if I would do a tour of my sewing room and my quilting studio. So here's the thing. I don't have either one of those. Where my sewing machine is out in the other room. I cut all of my fabric at the dining room table. My ironing board is set up out there. But all of the sewing I do is done in the family room. My quilt machine is out in the garage, aka the pit of despair, and there is no amount of money, well, $1 million. If somebody said, I will give you $1 million to film in the pit of despair and show us what it looks like out there, I would most definitely do it, because then I would take the $1 million, I would take a little bit of it, and I would make myself a quilting studio. But until that happens, I will not show where the quilt machine is. Because the weather is so cold here, last week I spent the whole entire week quilting for clients and trying to get those quilts done. I was able to, and it's just been too cold to go out there and do any of the quilts for myself. A lot of you guys are really excited to see the Jane Austen quilt. She's the next one. So as soon as it warms up enough for me to go out there, which I believe next week it's supposed to warm up a little bit more, I will quilt her. So I really hope to have her to show you in my next video. However, before it got really cold and before I started working on client quilts, I did quilt one thing. So I quilted the Mini Cake Mints shortcut quilt pattern, which is a free PDF that is available from the Fat Quarter Shop. You make it out of a layer cake, so it's perfect if you have a layer cake kicking around. You could definitely make this quilt. It's a very beginner friendly, so if quilting is something you're thinking about doing and you're maybe you have a layer cake, or you search online and you see a fabric line that you really like, get a layer cake of it and you can definitely make this quilt. Again, very beginner friendly. And I've shown this one many times before. I showed it in my year-end review video, so now I've just finally quilted it. So this is what it looks like. So the quilting motif that I did is just sort of like a swirl with a little bump. I was trying a new free motion motif, and I like to try the new motifs on my quilts in case I goof up. A lot of the times, I heard somebody tell me one time that whenever you make a goof in quilting or just in anything, if you're doing something repetitiously and you make a goof, it's your brain having a hiccup. So I like to, any new motifs, I put it on my quilt. That way, if my brain does have a hiccup, it's my quilt. So here it is. And this is the backing. I just have to put the binding on it, and I went out in my stash to look to see if I had, something that would go along with this fabric, and I don't have any, so I'm probably going to have to make a trip to my local quilt shop and try to find something. The fabric line is by Joe Morton, and I want to say it was Hopewell. So very pretty, and again, very beginner friendly. So the quilt hanging up behind me, which I can't remember, I've been at the video for a couple of hours now, and I don't actually remember what I might have talked about at the beginning of the video. But the quilt hanging up behind me is called the Civil War Diaries quilt. I cannot take any credit for assembling the quilt blocks. My friend sent those to me, and so she sent me the quilt blocks, the sashing fabrics, and I put it together, quilted it, and it's mine forever. And I love it. I've had it hanging on the quilt ladder. I think I worked on it maybe in 2021. Could have been 2020. But it usually is hanging out on the quilt ladder, and I decided that I wanted to hang it and enjoy it. So it will be hanging during the month of February. Know a lot of you guys will miss Cut the Mustard. It will make an appearance again a little bit later on in the year, but for now, I just wanted to enjoy this one. Other than that, all of the decor down here on the table stayed the same winter Valentine decor, and this stuff will probably stay up pretty much all the way through February because I love it. As far as quilting for myself, I really didn't do too terribly much. I worked on my Civil War tribute quilt. So this is what it will look like. And I worked on month 5, which is Fredericksburg, and you had to make 4 12-inch blocks. And I was able to do that. I don't remember if I showed these in I think I just had it cut out. I don't think I had actually assembled one of the blocks. So this is what the block looks like. So you have to make 4 of them, and they're 12-inch, so they take a little bit of time. I think it took me per block about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on if I was distracted or, what have you. But they definitely took a little bit of time to assemble. So this was the 4th block. Hopefully I have everything going in the correct direction. And I was going to, over the weekend, I was going to cut out and begin working on month 6. The month 6, again, words keep trying to come out faster than the mouth can say them, but I never got a chance, and I ended up working on cross stitch instead. So this is the 6th month, and this one is called Battle of the Ironclads. So I plan to cut this one out this weekend. I have it ready for me on my cutting mat. So I almost said cutting table. I don't have one of those. I use the kitchen table, but it's waiting for me on the kitchen table on my mat for me to cut it out. So I hope to have these finished in my next video. If I want to finish this quilt by May, I definitely need to have these done by my next video. The one that comes after this, month 7, is a doozy. You have to make 8 12-inch blocks, which basically is like making a whole entire quilt. And it is, I actually have, so it is this one right here. Well, this is the alternate block. This is the one I'm going to do, but the original block is super scary. And I decided I'm not going to do that one. And I don't know, maybe I don't have the paperwork here. Oh, hang on a second. This is what it looks like. That's the original. And I'm like, heck no. So I will be doing the alternate version. But you have to make 8 12-inch blocks, which again is like making a whole entire quilt. So that one I need to get started on. The reason why I'm not making the original is because the original has you cut a lot of the pieces to the 16th, and I don't have a ruler or a cutting mat that is that size. Mine is inches, half inches, and eighths, and I don't want to have to buy any specialty rulers or anything like that. So I'm going to do the alternate version, which is way easier. I mean, I could, maybe if there wasn't 8 you had to make, yes, if I only had to make 1, I totally would, but it's a lot of eyeballing, and I just, nope, it just leaves way too much room for error. So I will do the alternate version. So I do need to get started on that also this month in order for me to make my May deadline, because that one I'm really gonna like hold myself to. And maybe that's what kind of scared me away from doing the 6th month or starting on it, because I knew the 7th month was just so massive. So I just need to like put on my big girl pants and just do it. Well, my friends, that brings me to the end of my video. If you've stuck around for this length of time, thank you so very much. I actually have no idea what I have talked about in the whole entire video. The reason why is because I've been at this video in total for almost 3 hours, even though there were big breaks in between all of that. There was a big Freddie break, then the husband came home, there was grocery put away break, then It just seemed like it was, that just seems to be the way it goes sometimes. Anyway, so I've been at this for a while, so I have no idea what I've talked about, but what I have talked about while I'm editing, I will put all of that information down in the description box of everything I have shared and talked about in today's video. So if you're curious about anything that I've talked about, or you missed something and you just want to briefly go and see what the name of something was, all of that information will be down below in the description box. If you would like to see what I am up to in between my videos, you can follow me on Instagram. I am Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or I do have a Facebook page which is called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I will put a link to both of those down below in the description box. The plan, of course, will be to continue working on all the stuff that I have showed and to be back in 2 weeks. So I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks. I hope the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl on February 12th. That would be so amazing if they did. I am so excited they are in the Super Bowl, and I will be cheering and praying the whole entire game. So let's go Chiefs, right? Anyway, but I'll be back in 2 weeks, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below, and I will either answer them directly or I will answer them in my next video. I appreciate all of you guys who watch my videos, who comment, who like, who share, all of that. I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so very much, and I will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.